Yeah. So the first factor that is leading to the disease is the food that we are having, and so many like YouTubers and so many yeah, awareness platforms are coming up where they're coming up and they're sharing us what is actually in the packaged food that we are having, and what to speak about. The restaurant and hotel foods, so many gimmicks are getting revealed, wherein instead of real paneer they're using fake paneer, and no proper cow milk is available, and the oil we don't even know from how many years or generations together they're using the same oil. So yeah, I mean, we are all pretty much aware of it. And the second thing is hurry means like the lifestyle that is full of anxiety. We are always hustle bustle in a hustle bustle world, running for one or the other thing. And because of this life, we know, like especially women, we are coming up with so many issues like PCOS, PCOD, hyperthyroid and other thyroid issues, anxiety attacks, depression, so many things we are coming up actually, because we as women, since we are emotional beings, so we are more often connected with this emotional quotient factor, and all these hustle bustle, it directly affects our gut, it directly affects our body very very easily. And the last thing is worry, that is something which we are all practically experiencing, and which we are all very expert in. That whole day is going good and you give something small bad, and we are very well expert in just brooding over that small thing, and making a mountain out of the mole, and then have the suffering, that welcome the suffering that was not even waiting for us. So it's very important to know that these three factors, because of these three factors, actually the heart rate of the I mean heart health of the people is getting affected. For us now, it is giving us side effects like PCOS, PCOD, and all other health issues. But definitely there will be a point when we'll get old, so we have to slowly change our way of thinking, our routine. Definitely we cannot quit jobs, we cannot quit um, we cannot quit our studies, so we have to learn how to handle these things amidst our busy life. It's very important to know that worry, it's like a rocking chair. What does rocking chair do? It just keeps us in one place, it doesn't lead us to nowhere. So worry is like that, it always keeps us in anxiety, but it takes us nowhere. So life at every point of time, it is like www.com. What is that www? So initially when we were child, they used to say write, 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 exams, homework, assessment, and then we grew up and then they started saying www. What is the www? Work, work, work. And then we started working, and we started chasing money, so the www changed to wealth, wealth, wealth. So we started going behind wealth, and naturally when you work so hard and accumulate so much money, there is going to be worry, right? Because you need to handle the wealth, and you have a reputation now which you have to maintain. So lot of pressure, anxiety, I mean, I hope you all agree. So um not able to give up the worry, it leads to www.com again. Weep, weep, weep. So we all are like miserably crying, and this is the www of our life. It's a very very hard www of life. Actually, different difficulties are part integral part of our life. We cannot avoid difficulties for any reason, because if you when you attend this session, the karma session, especially we have two sessions. One is karma initially, and then karma in depth. So when you understand the karma cycle, so you'll understand whatever you're going through, it's not just presented to you in this life just like that. It's being served from the past life, or even from this life, the initial years, whatever you have done, that is being served. So we definitely we cannot that easily get away from the difficulties, but we can short we can equip ourselves with the spiritual wisdom via which we can change the perspective and handle things very differently. And our supreme father, he always says, you come back to Vaikunta where there is no anxieties. And yet we are all here today, and we are all struggling and trying to find happiness amidst the struggle. When we dwell into whatever the difficulties are being presented, it is all like how I said, because of our karma, it's already there. We cannot just neglect it or just push it aside. But when we dwell on these difficulties too much, especially in our mind, and make that place the mind hell, then the actual worry cycle begins. So whether to be affected or not, so it's our choice. Like difficulties will come or not, that's definitely not in our hand. And I'll give you an example actually. Like I'll share a small story. Like there a couple of people, especially a couple of devotees, they were going up in a boat ride. It was in Mayapur. They were going on a boat ride. So what happened is, the rider, he took these couple of people into the middle of the somewhere in the depth of the Ganges. And then they started noticing that the water started entering their boat. And they were like, they could see the bubbles, and in no time they could see the water is entering the boat, and they were all panicking. And then they asked the boatsman that what happened, what is happening, like can you please explain how is this water is entering in. And then he said that it is because there is a small hole, and all these days it was not that much showing up, but because they had come to the deep into the Ganges, so the river flow was so heavy that the that whole it is little expanded, and the water started entering in. So now they asked he asked you, do you all know swimming? So they said, no, we don't know swimming, so you have to save us. So then he had a bucket which he gave it to them, and he told that as and when the water comes, please collect the water and then throw it away. In this way we all can be saved, like that. um and definitely, I mean, very soon they moved towards the shores, I mean, bank of the Ganges, and they were, I mean, nothing happened to him. But especially our mind, why I'm sharing the story is that, especially our mind, it's like a boat. All difficulties around us, it's like the water around us, it's like difficulties, like all the, like river, it's like an ocean. The difficulties are always there. You just swim through one, there is another, swim through another, there is another. So it is like it is never ending. So whether your mind has a hole in it, you will not be worried if the difficulties, with the difficulties that is outside, that is with the water in the outside river. When you plug that hole, whenever there is a hole, when we plug that hole, that the water cannot come inside. Similarly, for us also, like whenever we don't let the difficulties around us, if we don't let that internalize us, we don't let that hit our mind or hit our emotions, as long as that is happening, we are safe. When this is not happening, that is when actually we see it's leading to depression, anxiety, and so on. Because it's not that they are having some special difficulties. No, they're having, there are people who are having, thousand times more difficulty, and who are living a happier life, who are living a peaceful life. The only difference is that how we let the difficulties internalize us. Why am I mean, I'm pretty sure we are all aware of this point. Why am I sharing this point? Because mm as women, we tend to forget, our we tend to flow with the emotions and forget this very point. So you can somewhere make note, and whenever you kind of find yourself in a situation where you're worrying, you're in anxiety, you're fearful, out of nothing, out of nothing, at that time you can go through these points, and then you can just these points, but you can just give a reminder to your mind that, come on, cool down, nothing has happened. You're just allowing the water outside the boat to come in, and I don't want that to happen. Let me put a patch, and then you can decide what is that patch. That patch can be anything that is helping you come out of that situation at that point of time. um Another story I would like to share. During the Nazi camps, what are these Nazi camps? They are basically these Nazi people. They were captured, and then and they were being tortured actually. So a man who was living in the camp, he was being suffered like anything, and over a period of time, he went. I mean, he just stopped brooding over that suffering, and there was a sudden smile on his face, and he was so happy, and everybody around, and they started coming him for counseling. In fact, in it is, I mean, this is a true story that I'm mentioning, in including that. The soldiers who were torturing, no, at one point of time they were so tired of torturing that they would come to him for counseling, asking how in this even in this camp, which is completely full of miseries and torture, how are you even happy? They used to come and get happiness counseling from him. And one weird habit he had, that weird habit is everywhere he would draw butterflies. So wherever, on the wall, on the paper, anywhere he finds a piece of paper, and on the floor, wherever he would find, he would wherever he would get some space, he would just draw the butterfly. Why? The interesting answer he gave is, one he told that one day, I was the suffering in a camp was so intense that that suffering, it led to a life changing experience. I changed my perception of my life completely, he told. And he said that he saw a worm that is struggling out in the cocoon, and it came out of cocoon after some time as a beautiful butterfly, and it flew away. And he was, repeating this scene in his mind. He thought that in his mind, he was thinking that now I am also a worm in the cocoon, that is this Nazi camp, but very soon I will also come out of this cocoon, and I will fly away, fly far away. Like this, he started imagining himself. He started every now and then he started visualizing that act of butterfly coming out, and then he imagined himself as a butterfly flying out of this Nazi camp, and then staying very happily outside the Nazi camp. So he over a period of time, uh, people just started dying out of the out of hopelessness, because they were all tired of waiting, and tired of being tortured, and they died like that. But this person, eventually what happened is, the Nazi camp disintegrated, and out of the very handful of people who got saved, this person was one of them, because he had that positive vision and positive and motive, and he always had a hope. He never left a hope. He came out. So and definitely after coming out, he became a motivational speaker. He's still now a very renowned motivational speaker. He wrote books. So actually what he did was, rather than getting flown away by the worries, he decided to focus on something better. That he knew that it is coming up for him in the later point of time. And I don't know how many of you all remember, when we were in our college, school, especially in a high school, there was one story that was told to us, again similar to this, wherein a girl was stuck in the forest, in the deep in the forest, and how she had that positive vision which made her come out of that forest. So again, why am I sharing you all these things? Because it's again because when we don't have purpose in life, it should not be it may not be a very big purpose. It might be a simple purpose, that okay, this week I will finish this many chapters of my college work, or this week I will be finishing this much of my work, or some spiritual purpose, like I'll be doing like 4 rounds but attentively this week. I'll be hearing one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, or I'll be reading one chapter of Bhagavad Gita next 15 days. Like this, whatever it is, I might, it might be some other thing, like let me finish this novel in next 1 month, something like that. Unless and until you have a purpose, you don't start with yourself with a purpose, your mind always wanders, and without purpose we end up in inviting more and more worries. So that's why purpose matters. And second thing is, whenever we find ourselves in a worryful situation, so um we should always remember that hope against the hope. We should always have hope against the hope. And second thing is, you might tell that, Mataji, you are telling so much about worries. We all know now. Please give us the solution. So yeah, we have seven solutions that will help us to, I will not say get out of the worry easily, I mean get out of the worry immediately, but I'll say that it will reduce your worry to a greater extent, and in fact it will reduce your fearlessness, um, that sense of anxiety, that sense of heartburning that we always have, and butterflies in the stomachs we always have. We can reduce that to a greater extent, like when we try to recall these points, and then whatever points is applicable to us, apply that points at that point of time. So actually, this worry, no, it gives a small thing a big shadow. You all would have noticed that the issue is not as big as the mind makes it. So when we carry a brick, you see, small brick. Initially, it is not becoming heavy for us, but after 1 hour, the same brick, same size, it is too heavy. After 24 hours, it becomes like a wall heavy, and after 7 days, it becomes like a house heavy. So like this, we see, the more and more we keep the thought in the mind, the more and more it becomes heavier for us to deal with it, especially as women, because we also have so many responsibilities as a daughter, as as a friend, as a wife, and so many roles we are playing as a mother, so many roles we are playing. So we need to, as a sibling, so we need to, makes is like, we should not keep a thought in our mind for a long period of time. So the instant solution for that, which we all know generally, which we all are not following, is journaling actually. So at the end of the day, if you just write, three things that you are grateful for. It can be something like, I'm grateful for my parents, I'm grateful for the food prasadam that I got, I'm grateful for the I'm grateful for the shelter that I'm receiving, I'm grateful for the job that I have. So and then you write down your worry, and then you can instead of thinking, you can divide that worry into two parts. First thing is, you can see this worry, and it's always good to do at the end of every day, because our everyday day to day worries, if we go on keep on piling, and that will come up as a anger burst, and then we'll start bursting on our near and dear ones, our friends, relatives, or sometimes our colleagues. All these things, we have noticed, that is because all the worry comes up together, and it pulls up into an anger mold, and then it just bursts at once. So if we have to avoid that, I know it will hardly take 3 to 5 minutes to just write down what you're grateful for, write down your worry, and divide into two parts. One is it under my control? If it is yes, then we can just go ahead and write down what can I actually do to reduce the worry. And it can be as simple as one step. Like it can be as simple as, okay, this is the biggest the work I have to submit by 3 days. So it can be as simple as, I'll just like list down what are the activities in that task that I have to perform. So you divide it into simple, doable actions, and instantly you can notice that your worry cycle will like reduce to a greater extent. And if it is not in control, then just it's always good to keep it aside, and definitely we'll discuss solution for that also when things are not in control. And second thing is, we should always know that, like how I said, whenever you write down a worry, you always see that, is that worry a real worry or not. The worst problem with all of us women, including me, it is that we don't categorize worry as, is it real or not. So this is the statistics actually that I just took it from the net, that actually 60% of the things that we worry about, it never takes place. 15% it has already taken place. 70%, 17%, it is about people who will never change. We all would have met, right, people who don't change at all, and we simply hope that yes, this person will change today, this person will change tomorrow, and we are in a worry because of those people. They might be in work, they might be in home, they might be like out in our neighborhood. And then 8%, it is mentioned that it it is only just 8% of the things which we worry are the real problems. And the solution is, the first thought is, you should start minding your mind. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bandhuratma manastasya enatmaivatmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. So, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of the friends. But one who has failed to do so, mind will remain his enemy. So, actually, Krishna says that how mind can turn heaven into hell, it is depending on how you pursue it. Actually, most of us, we try to give the remote control of our life to others. Some people press the button, we start crying. Some people press the button, we start laughing. Some people press the button, we are sad. I mean, definitely, it might sound very, silly, but actually, it is like that. Just a gentle comment of somebody can just spoil our whole day. That person can be nowhere related to us, but still that will affect us so much in our life. And why like we should why should others control the temperature of our life? There is a small story. You can again pay attention to the story. It's a very subtle way to understand. Actually, there was one small boy, young boy, and he wanted to have a holiday from the school. And so what he did, he just left three sheeps or lambs basically in his school, and he marked one, like first lamb as one, second lamb as two, and third lamb as four. So he didn't name third lamb as three. Instead, he named it as four. Now he left it in the school premises, and those sheeps, they just they just spoiled the gardens, and then they just made the whole space dirty and everything. And next day, when the school people, when they opened the school, they saw that, I mean, there are three sheeps and it is named one, two, and four. And it has already created so much havoc, and now they are worried, where is the sheep number three? They're like looking for sheep number three. And finally, I mean, it was in that story, it was mentioned that they announced a holiday basically, because they wanted to search sheep number three and clean the premises, and then so that kids could come back again to the school. But actually, the thing about that third sheep is, you know, we always are looking for that number three, which is not there in our life. There is one, two, and four in our relationship that is going good, but we look for that three, which is not going good. And then there are one, two, and four, that which is going good in our job. We might be getting some appreciations. We might be, doing our whatever task is given to us, that is well, but we might not be as competitive, as competent as another colleague who is actually doing like super awesome. So that is the third ship which is missing in our life. And we might be having one, two, and four, the things that in our that is there in our life, but that we are always looking out for that third thing which is there in the next person, which is not in us. So we are actually always looking for that. Mind is like that. It doesn't pay gratitude for what we have. Instead, it always broods over things that we don't have. So the more and more we are not grateful, the more and more actually we start inviting worry in our life, because when we don't see things that are good, automatically we invite things that are bad actually, or that are not good for us. So nature of the mind is actually to be dissatisfied with what you have, and happiness lies, we think that happiness lies in what we don't have, but it's not the other way around. It's when we become satisfied with what we have. That is why I said journaling is a very, very important habit. And it changes our life to a very greater extent. It can even reverse all our bad habits, the anger issues that we have, and blame game that we do unknowingly. And sometimes we don't want to hurt others, but unknowingly we hurt others. Everything can be consciously reduced when we consciously take 5 minutes out of our day and journal out the things that are happening in our life. And That's why it's very very important to mind our mind. And how can we mind our mind? By dumping the thoughts. You don't have to take a book and write down things. It can be as simple as you might be having a own personal WhatsApp group in which you are there, and it can be as simple as when you're coming back from the work, just take out 5 minutes of your time and write down, dump your thoughts. It can be as simple as that. And second thing is, many times, even if the like in midst of a negative situation, even if there are some things positive in it, we overlook that positive things. In fact, unfortunately, in our schools or colleges, we have never been taught of how to actually handle the negativity. Like if you see, this again from Gauranga Prabhu, once in his um, what do you say, a session that is given to the corporate professionals, he cracked a joke. And he cracked a joke, he said that, I have there was a person, his name was Shankar, and he was married for 50 years, and he had a very happy married life because his his wife and he they went to they went to Sri Lanka at the age of 20, and then he just dropped her at the age of he just dropped her in at Sri Lanka at her mother's place at 20, and he came back, and she came back at 50. So the 20 to 50 years when she was out there in the Sri Lanka, so he was very happy. So in that way he had a very happy married life like that. He cracked some joke, and then everybody were like laughing. And then second time he cracked the same joke. The people started ready. I mean, the number of people laughing reduced. Third time he cracked the same joke. It was like a handful of people. Fourth time he cracked that joke. Everybody are wondering what's wrong with this person. What's wrong with this Prabhuji, Gauranga Prabhuji? He's cracking the same joke. And then he told a very very nice point that if you can't laugh at the same joke again and again, why do you cry over the same sorrow again and again? It's the same thing with all of us actually. We just as women, we just stick to one thought and we just brood over it like for a long period of time and cried. In fact, there are women who have cried over the same thing for decades. It's when I was doing research on these things, I was surprised to know that. And I don't want all of us to become like that. I mean, we are very 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 good at brooding things and taking things, dragging things, and making things worse. So like how I said, there are a lot of things which we cannot control or do anything. The first strategy is, like how I said, figure out what is not in your control. And second thing is, what is in your control, give your best. You just list down things and give your best, and then don't depend on the results, because you know that because of karma, whatever it has to come, it has to come. And third thing is, whatever is not in my control, so you should always know that it is perfectly under Krishna's control. This is where the divine intervention comes. So whenever something is like going completely against in your life, definitely it happens to all of us. So at that time, we might end up in a place where we are not we don't deserve it. In a situation where we which we cannot handle at all. So always remember that I'm giving my best, but it's still I'm not able to handle things. That is because it might not be in my control, but it is in complete control of Krishna. So at that time you have to, the best possible thing you can do is you can just offer a prayer to the Lord. And you can see, when you offer a genuine prayer to the Lord will send help in so many ways that we cannot even expect. And another story I would like to share, actually, there was a man who was shipwrecked means he was just deserted in an island. And now he's alone, he cannot do anything. So he somehow collected some wood, and he built a hut. And then he kept himself positive by making a watermelon, out of a watermelon. He carved a picture out of it, he carved a person out of it, and he started talking to that person. And he was hoping that, yeah, he was trying to basically spend his life in a way. He was trying to collect fruits, eat, and being hopeful. And one day when he went to bring food, basically fruits and vegetables, so he saw that his hut was burning. and he was devastated. And he started I mean yelling, screaming. And then soon after, a copter came, and then they told that we saw some smoke coming out of this island, and then we thought that somebody is in danger, so we came to save you. So similarly, actually, in our life, there will be something that is going good now, and there will be something that is not going good. So whenever something is not going good, you should always know that there is some lesson that I have to learn from that point of time. That is why Lord is putting me through that situation. And you can always fall back on Lord. You can always try to reach out to Lord by prayers, and you can ask, I don't know what you want me to learn, Krishna, in this situation, so please help me. And let me, I don't know what is best for me. I'm thinking this is best for me, the heart is best for me, but something better may be awaiting for me, so I don't know what is that. So at the end of the day, I would request all of you that you can always offer a prayer that, Krishna, I don't know what is good for me, but you know what is good for me, so please let you take the control, let you be the boss of my heart, and you take the control, and whatever is best for me, you do it for me, like that. And you see, when we say that we surrender to the Lord, this is what actual surrender means. It doesn't mean you give up everything and then uh, become a full-time devotee. This is the small surrender that we are talking about, where we tell Lord directly that, I know this is not good for me. I'm not able to handle it, but I know there is something big waiting for me. So please, like, make that process faster so that I can come out of this very soon, and I can stay happy with you. I can serve you happily, like that. And it is also said that like um, there is another story where elephant, actually there are so many animals, right? Like elephant, cheetah, rabbit, and so many elephants like this. So all of these, when they were running race, elephant, it prepared himself so good, but at the end of the day, who won the race? Cheetah. Again, he tried again. He prepared himself for a long, good amount of time, but again they did a running race. Who won the race? Cheetah. Why? Because rather than accepting the realities of life, the elephant was trying to prove something that was not in his caliber. And similarly, it is for us also. So when we accept the realities in our life and align with that expectation, life becomes peaceful. Like, for example, you might say that, Mataji, elephant example is so so vague. I mean, I know my capacity. That's why right now, whatever I'm doing is to the best of the abilities. I know that's why I'm here. But what I'm trying to say is, see, when something is not happening as I want, so let's say I'm accepting it. Like, at that time, it becomes tolerance. But if I'm not accepting it, and then the result is anger. So if something is not going according to my expectation, it leads to anger. And so again, fear. If it is due to some uncertainties in life, if I'm accepting that uncertainties, then it becomes an adventure. You see so many people, they do bungee jumping, they do river rafting, paragliding. It's not that they're not scared. They are also scared of the because there is always a factor of unknown in that, and they are also scared of all these things. And similarly, like, so many careers we jump into, not knowing actually what is it. And the same career, when we accept that yes, there is uncertainty, at that time, when we deal things with acceptance, it becomes an adventure. And when we don't deal with acceptance, the same things becomes fear for us. You see, again, public speaking or whatever it is you take, the more and more we accept the reality, we come in peace with it. And the more and more we try to oppose the reality, so we go to the opposite, negative emotion, actually. So like, again, when I have if somebody has you know um, done something that which I have not done. Let's say somebody got a promotion in the job, and I have not got it. Now again, if I accept it very peacefully, then it becomes an inspiration for me. But if I'm not expecting it, if I'm not dealing with an acceptance, then it becomes jealousy, and then it lead to office politics and so on. And again, finally, if somebody hurt us, let's say I have accepted it, then it becomes forgiveness. And it's like holding a burning coal. I'm not holding it for a long time, so I am peaceful. And if I'm not accepting it, the burning coal is in my hand, and that hatred, it will burn me than the other person. So you have to we have to come to a pace where we have to accept our realities. The more and more we start accepting the realities, the less and less we go through the negative emotions. And finally, last 3 4 points is that uh, we end up in an pool of unhealthy comparison. This always happens, especially when we are in a job, when we see that two of us joined the same job at the same time, but one is doing better, one is not doing better, especially even in studies. We see, like, again, this example is very very widely given, that if there is a small fern, it needs watering for like 1 week and then it grows. But a bamboo is not like that. It needs watering for 1 year, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, for years together, and then in no time, in 3 weeks, it grows. So for everything, especially when we are uh, going through a tough time, we should always have that patience, that yes, I will get over it. It might not be like 1 month, 2 month, like 6 months, 1 year, but we should always know that I will get over it somehow or the other. I will get over it. And we should never lose hope. That is the thing, actually. And the best hope is to always like hold the feet of Krishna and say that I am hopeless and no one is there to help me. Now you are the one who is helping me. And when we become hopeless and beg to Krishna, miracles happen. It has happened in so many people's life. Even now, in like, I have shifted here, and day in day out, when I talk to people, when I ask about what attracted them for Krishna consciousness, the major thing that I hear is how the way Krishna reciprocated in their life when they prayed for. And the same thing will happen to us. It's the fact is that we are not praying. That's the thing, actually. And yeah, we should definitely avoid unhealthy comparisons. And the most important thing is, we should, in any situation, we should choose to respond and not react. And this is the beautiful story from Ramayana, which I always share with others, which I always try to remember in my life also. That that story where there was this this Maya Mriga, that is the deer, magical deer that came, and then Sita Mata said, "I need this deer now." And then Ramji went to get that deer, and he told Lakshman that you just take care of the Sita. Now, what did that deer do? The deer is nothing but a Marichi. So when he was dying out of the arrow of the Ramji, so he screamed in the voice of Ram. He said, "Oh Sita, oh Lakshman, save me," like that. Now Sita Mata heard, and she was so anxious. She said to Lakshman, "Go and uh, like, see what your brother is going through." But Lakshman already know, he's so powerful. He's much more powerful than me. He will definitely take care of Marichi, like any deer or any demon, very easily. But he thinks that I have been given the task of taking care of Sita Mata, who is actually very Komala. She's actually very you know uh, very uh, very very tender to handle, so I have to take care of her. So he stays back. At that time, Sita Mata, she insults Lakshman, and she says that, "I knew this was the moment you were waiting for all your life, that you wanted to take advantage of this moment. That's why you're not going." Like this, she doubts the character of Lakshman, and then he becomes very upset, and he goes to Ram. At that time, here kidnapping of Sita Mata happens. And when he goes to Ram again, Ram says, I had only given you one task of taking care of Sita. Now you are not able to take care of Sita." Now they go back to the place, and then they see that Sita is no more there. She has been taken by Ravan. Now everywhere, Sita cursed, Ram cursed. Now Lakshman had left everything and come for Ram and Sita. Now he's being questioned. If somebody's questioning his character, somebody's questioning his caliber. Now he presses a pause button, and then he thinks that now, because of the he thinks that Sita Mata, because of her affection for Ram, she's putting this blame on me. But is she meaning it? No, she's not meaning it. She has taken care of me like a mother, so she's definitely not meaning it. And similarly on the Ram end also, Ram is like my brother, he loves me more than myself, so he will never like do this. But because he has lost Sita, now um he's in that difficulties, that he's actually showing that anger on me, and he doesn't mean it. And similarly in all our lives also it is like that. So many situations when we hit a pause button, and then when we reflect on the things, it's not easy, it's really hard to hit pause button. But the slower and sooner we practice it, the slower and sooner we can experience the effect, especially when we are dealing with our near and dear ones. When we start hitting the pause button and think, do they really mean what they say? And we can avoid, three-fourth of the problem that we are going through. And even in the situations that we are handling, actually, the when initially when they used to say, to me, read Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I was not a person who liked to read books a lot. um, I like hearing. Even now, I like hearing. I like watching things, but I don't like reading a lot. So I was very hesitant to read. But at that point of time, one devotee, they came up to me, and then they had told me this point, which I remember even now. They told me that when we study scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all these scriptures, as small books of Prabhupada like that, very, very, consciously when we read those books, it may not we may not remember even one point out of that book, but when we regularly read it, it gives us a knowledge via which we know what decisions to take at what point of time. And over a period of time, I started noticing it. The same person who didn't know how to deal with situations, like I'm speaking about me, I started, taking better decisions in my life. I started climbing ladder in my professional life, even in my personal life. And then I also saw that, to an extent, that I started, helping others. When even that habit is still now there, wherein people reach out to me with difficulties, and I take shelter of these Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. It doesn't mean that I take shelter means I open the book, read, and then share it to them. It's not like that. Because of that spiritual wisdom that I have, that I have gained over a period of time, because of studying those scriptures. And even now I'm studying the scriptures. I'm studying Srimad Bhagavatam. And because of that, I see that the way I can help myself and help others, it is completely different. So why I'm sharing this to you? Because so many times we overlook the power of studying the scriptures. We thinking that, oh, I'm not able to remember any points, why should I study? No, even if you have studied Bhagavad Gita once, we can all start reading it again. The Srimad Bhagavatam also, we can start it. It may not be making any sense at this point of time, but over a period of time, the dots will get connected, and it will help you take the better decisions, especially life changing decisions. When we have that clarity comes by studying scriptures, actually. And so many times in my life, I have noticed that uh, out of nowhere I get help, because of the past study that I had done. Out of nowhere I get some thought, and when I start working on that thought, I see that I came out of that problems in no time. And and again, for this, there is a story. I'll just share that story, and then we will just end with the concluding powerful 2 points, I mean, two solutions. The story is that, actually, one person, one old man, he died. And when he died, he gave like a solution. I mean, he made a will before dying. He made? He made a will that half of my wealth goes to my sons, one-fourth of the wealth goes to my relatives, and one-fifth of the wealth, it goes for charity. Like that, he made a will. Now, after he died, they ended up in a problem. What was the problem? The problem was that they had the father's wealth was just 19 horses. Now, so many logicians came, so many people came, lawyers came, and they are not able to solve this problem of dividing the horses. Why? Because there are 19 horses, and they are not able to divide the horses, like half, one-fourth, and one-fifth. They're not able to like divide in a way that without killing one horse, without dividing the horse into two halves. You can also, after this session, you can sit back and you can try to give your brain a little work, and then see that there are 19 horses. Half of the horse should go to, one half of the horse should go to his sons, one fourth of the total should go to relatives, and one fifth should go to his to the charity. Now they finally, all none of them could solve that, and finally they decided that we will cut one horse and we will kill one horse. At that time, one out of nowhere, one person comes, and he comes on the horse and he says that, you add my horse. So he will add that horse, and then he will make that problem simple. What is that problem simple? What is one fourth? Now it becomes 20. Initially it was 19, now it becomes 20. What is that solution to one fourth of, what is the half of 20? It is 10. So he gives the 10 horses to his sons. And what is one fourth of the 20? It is like one fourth of the 20 is 4 5s are 20, so it is 5. So he gives 5 horses to the to the relatives, and he takes his one horse back. So what is the number of horses that are remaining? 4 horses. So he gives that 4 horses to the charity. Now everything is solved. Out of nowhere, everything is solved. So you may ask, Mataji, what is the intent behind sharing the story? The 20th horse in our life is actually the God. You know, when we know that we are into a problem where we are not able to come out of that problem, so we should always know that the way to solve that problem is by taking shelter of Lord, by having faith in Lord. And the more and more we take shelter of prayers, and the more and more we take shelter of the mercy of the Lord, the more we can see that miracles start happening to us. Like how this 20th horse came in and that problem got solved. Similarly, the 20th horse is Lord in our life. And most of the times the problem with us is we hardly offer any prayer, and we hardly trust Lord. We go in plane, we trust that pilot. We go in railways, we go in bus, we go in cabs, we trust the driver. But our supreme driver, our supreme personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller, we cannot trust him in most of the times. And even if in the depth of the heart, when there is little, you know when there is not much faith that Krishna might take care of this, Krishna will surely take care of this, Krishna can sense it, he's right in your heart, and he will give the control completely to you. And that, when we receive the control back, that's when the problem happens, because we don't know what to do with that control, and we just spoil it by worrying. And the last thought I would leave all of you with, and the most important thought, how to stop worrying and start living, is the thought of selflessness. Actually, you may think, what is this Mataji saying? How is selflessness even helping us? Actually, psychologists and psychiatrists, they found that the biggest reason for worry, depression, anxiety is the self-centeredness. It is the selfishness, actually. Um, One example I heard from a devotee, that let's say some people would come to him for some problem, so he would give them a box of prasadam, and he would tell them that, Prabhuji, go share this prasadam to everybody, and you see, you will find a difference. At that time, that the person who is struggling with some problem, he used to yell at that devotee who gave the advice. He used to tell that, what is it with you that you are asking me to go and distribute prasadam? I actually came to you with the problem. Now you give me the solution to the problem. The distribution of prasadam anybody can do. And he, the that devotee who is actually guiding, he says that that is the problem actually. Everybody comes up and says that I came to solve my problem, and you are giving me a solution to go and help others. So it's when everything is about me, at that time actually the problem becomes worse, because we are not coming out of that aham thing, that we are so much self-centered about us, that even the smallest of the small things which are not even problems, it becomes like a big mountainous problem for all of us. And it is also a fact that the depressed people are the most selfish people. So because, like how I gave the example of the sweets, people say, you solve my problem first, and then I'll go to others and I'll share the sweets, or share the problem, share the prasadam. This is the thing. Like when we start doing some selfless seva, anywhere, especially in the temple or anywhere, when we start doing some activity of selflessness to others, it can be anybody. It can be like selflessly serving somebody in the bus, selflessly serving, selflessly helping somebody in the office. And it's when we do it consciously and when we do it regularly, that the aspect of selflessness comes. And how does that help? When we become more and more selfless, we become less self-centered. And when we become less self-centered, the so many problems that which we are getting hit by, so it doesn't affect to us more and more, because the more and more we are self-centered, the more and more we think deeply about ourselves. What is my reputation? What happens if this, if I fail in this, what happens to my reputation? What happens if that person, if he's not happy with my words, what happens? So most of the times we end up in worry because we think about what happens to me. We enter into that loop of self-centeredness. You can only introspect actually. And the more and more we try to become selfless and without expecting anything, we try to serve selflessly, at that time we can shift our focus from me to others. And this is a gradual, but it is a transformative solution actually, to reduce worry and slowly to reduce all these anxiety, depression and everything, and lead a amazing life. And definitely, like how I said, it's not a one day work, but yeah, slowly and gradually, I have shared 7 points. Out of this, even one point you can just hold on to. And it's not that, at this point of time, not all of us would be going through something that is worrying us. But over a period of time, definitely we will go through difficulties, we will go through a time where we will we need some shelter, we need to hold something that will actually get out of that situation. So these were the points actually. It could be anything. It could be anything, like how I spoke about the mind. It could be anything about how I spoke about how to actually see hope in the hopelessness situation, the stories that I shared. And then how we have to actually align with the expectations so that we can be peaceful. Like how I said, if we are not if we are not in acceptance with the hurt that we have received, we will always be living with that hatredness, because of which if that hatredness burns us, not others. And whenever we are caught in this race of unhealthy comparisons, even to a smaller extent, you know what to do now. And then the most the best solution for me out of this was solution 5, that is choose to respond and not react. And the more and more, slowly and gradually, the more and more I'm trying to hit the pause button, I can see the difference in my life, that less and less I have to deal with the people. And if I do some mistake by reacting, not responding, it's me who is actually in the guilt, right? When we burst on others, it is us in the guilt. The other person is very happy. They say that this person he has anger issues, she has anger issues, and they it doesn't affect them much. But we are worrying that, oh, I told this to this person. So like as women especially, we worry much. And most important things we always should remember is the 20th horse which gives us solution is Lord. And we have to take shelter of Lord more and more via chanting, via studying scriptures, gaining that spiritual wisdom, via which we can solve most of the problems that are coming to us. Not in a direct way, but in an indirect way, by increasing the the emotional intelligence part of us, by by getting the solutions to navigate the problems of our life. And like how I said, more and more we selflessly serve, whether in temples or in general, wherever possible, and try to reduce that aham thing in us, we see that we will surely come out of the worry cycle. Thank you very much for patiently hearing me. And if I've said something that is very common, or that is very very easily accessible to all of you, and that did not help you, so please forgive me. But yeah, I mean, this session was important for me also. I hope it was helpful for all of you. Even if you take away one point and try to actually practice it in your life, just like how I said, journaling while coming back from your office, taking just a few minutes to write things that you're grateful for, and then especially hitting the pause button, or having taking that 20th horse concept or something like that. So yeah, I'll be very happy to know that it's helping all of us. If you have any questions, we can discuss for another 5 minutes, otherwise we'll end. We are right on time, so yeah, thank you.